I trusted my wife with my life, my heart, and every dollar I had ever earned. The night I discovered she had given all three to another man, I realized betrayal can wear the face you love most. For 10 years, I believed I was living the dream. My name is Daniel Carter, and I built my company from a folding table in a rented garage. I repaired computers by day, coded by night, and slept on a mattress that sagged in the middle. When the contracts finally came, when the first real check cleared, I called only one person, Emily. She was the girl who believed in me when I had nothing but ambition and debt. We married when the business was still fragile, when one bad month could have ruined us. She handled the books. I handled the clients. Together, we grew something real. By the time I turned 38, Carter Systems employed 40 people and cleared 7 figures a year, and I thought my marriage was stronger than my balance sheet. The problem started quietly. Emily began questioning every expense, every bonus, every expansion plan. She said I was reckless. I said I was building a future. We fought about money in ways that felt new and dangerous, like strangers negotiating a contract instead of spouses sharing a dream. Then came Ryan. He was a consultant she insisted we hire to optimize operations. Tall, confident, always smiling too easily. He spoke in polished phrases and looked at Emily like she was the only person in the room. I told myself I was imagining things, until I came home early one afternoon and heard laughter in my office. Their laughter, they were standing too close. She jumped when she saw me. He stepped back too slowly. I was just showing him the new reporting system, she said. I believed her, because believing was easier than facing what my instincts were screaming. The first real damage came 3 months later. A major client canceled their contract without warning. Then a supplier demanded payment for invoices I had already paid. Our cash flow tightened. I blamed the market. Emily said it was a temporary disruption. When I asked to review the books, she hesitated. I've been handling them for years, Dan, she said. Don't you trust me? So I stopped asking. That was my second mistake. The third came the night she said she was visiting her sister. She didn't come home. At 2 in the morning, I checked her phone location for the first time in our marriage. She was across town, in a part of the city she never visited, in Ryan's neighborhood. When she finally walked in at dawn, she said her sister had been sick and needed her. She couldn't meet my eyes. I still didn't accuse her. Instead, I focused on the company, trying to fix a financial leak I could not locate. Payroll became tight. Lines of credit were maxed out. The numbers stopped making sense, so I hired a forensic accountant. Quietly, 2 weeks later, she sat across from me in my office, her face pale. Daniel, she said, someone has been moving money out of your operating accounts for over a year. My stomach dropped. How much? She slid a folder across the desk. $840,000. Wire transfers. Shell vendors. Fake invoices. All approved with Emily's credentials. I went home that night and confronted her. She denied everything. She cried. She screamed. She said someone had hacked the system. I almost believed her again. Then the accountant called. The funds had been routed through a holding company owned by Ryan. I felt something inside me go cold. That night, I followed her. I parked outside Ryan's apartment and watched her walk in like she belonged there. I waited 3 hours, staring at a window on the third floor where two silhouettes moved behind the curtains. When she came out, I didn't confront her. I followed her to a motel. I paid for the room next to hers, and I listened. I listened as she laughed with him about how easy I was. I listened as she said, "Once he signs the sale agreement, we'll be free." That was the moment I learned the truth. They weren't just stealing from me. They were trying to take my entire company. The shocking part came the next week. Ryan contacted me directly. He offered to help me stabilize my finances by buying a controlling stake in Carter Systems at a discount. He said Emily had convinced him I was emotionally unstable and unfit to run the company. He had already prepared the paperwork. He was trying to steal my life using my wife as the key. I smiled, and I agreed to meet. That meeting changed everything. I wore a wire. The forensic accountant had contacted federal investigators after discovering interstate wire fraud. They needed proof of intent. Ryan provided it himself. He bragged about how Emily had given him access codes, how she had altered records, how they planned to push me out quietly and split the company. He never noticed the recording device in my jacket. When I confronted Emily that night, I didn't shout. I simply placed the recording on the table and pressed play. She collapsed into the chair like her bones had vanished. She confessed everything. The affair, the theft, the plan. She said she did it because she felt invisible in my shadow, because she wanted more, because she loved him. 2 days later, federal agents arrested both of them for conspiracy, wire fraud, and embezzlement. The trial lasted 8 months. The press called it a corporate love triangle. I called it the slow public autopsy of my marriage. Emily was sentenced to 6 years. Ryan got 9. I kept my company. But I lost something far more valuable: trust. For a long time, I believed success had cost me my wife. The truth was harder. I had trusted blindly where I should have verified. I had loved deeply where I should have protected wisely. Today, my company is stable again, but I will never again confuse loyalty with the absence of questions, because the most dangerous betrayals are not committed by strangers. They are committed by the people who know exactly where you keep your heart, and your passwords.